What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another weekly update for April 11th. We've had an interesting week last week. The tech market essentially started waking up, which was awesome to see. You had some really front runners in the beginning of the week. You had Apple, Microsoft, and Facebook just completely taken off. Tesla did play nicely for a couple days there. Then Tesla cooled off. A lot of the other tech stocks continued on. Even Amazon had a crazy run towards the end of the week. So did Shopify. So being said, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And let's get into this week. This week really kind of starts the earnings. There were some earnings last week, but this particular week, we do have a lot of earnings for banks this week. So that being said, that is really what's going to start kicking this whole thing off. And something we need to pay attention to. If the banks do really well, we're going to see that that is going to carry on. Now, the biggest bank earnings coming up, obviously, it really starts on Wednesday. You got Wells Fargo, you got Goldman Sachs, you got Bed Bath & Beyond also starts on Wednesday as well. And then you also got Ally Bank, Morgan Stanley towards on Wednesday. You got Delta, you got Rite Aid, you got Bank of America on Thursday. I mean, you got a lot of different things that are going on come this week. And I think that is really what we've been waiting on. The market has been rattling. There's been just a lot of different stuff going on. Again, we had the tanker. We had the rates, worry about inflation. We did have Kathy Woods give us her weekly update yesterday. I am recording this on a Saturday evening. But being said, her concerns were essentially about Powell in this past week and how Powell was essentially talking about that he may have to raise rates earlier than expected, potentially. And we may see more rattling of the way the market is. The market has been really choppy as of late. It's been slowly grinding up as of late, but as you notice, there has been a lot of leaders individually, but ultimately it's really just understanding that the inflation and everything that is going on, there's just so much different things that come into play as far as how the outlook will be. Again, everything is still very bullish. There is, again, tons of money out there. This is the time to essentially widens the gap, right, between the wealthy generational wealth that is going to happen in the coming months, and understanding where to essentially be at that time. Now, being said, the market this week, we do have tomorrow or Monday, I should say, we had the federal budget come out on Monday. So that'll be interesting to see what comes of that. To start us out for the week. And then again, we have the banks. If the banks do well, you can almost guarantee that the rest of the market will continue, especially going into earnings. You got Spot, you got Tesla earnings at the end of the month. Tesla just announced their earnings on the 26th of April. So that's something to keep in mind, because that I think will really start kicking this off and moving us in the right direction. So with me, stop jabbering about. Let me go ahead and share the screen. The market, right? The market really kind of sideways on Friday. There was, again, some individual stocks that did run. Amazon really killed it on Friday. I did not play Amazon. I don't normally play Amazon, so did Shopify. Also tore up quite a bit. That being said, everything is getting ready for earnings, and everything is going to be big. Again, Spot, I think, is one of the hidden gems. I bought a call option for Spot going into earnings, and I am in shares for Tesla going into earnings as well. I may actually grab a contract, some call options on Tesla as well going into earnings because of their numbers that came out. There was also some major numbers as far as China. I had seen somewhere that they have the Model 3 they were way ahead. They have already essentially doubled the production of their Model 3 in China already. So that is something to keep in mind. Just being open up for a short time, right? So being said, I'm really bullish on Tesla. I'm really bullish on Spot going into earnings. Again, that is towards the end of the month. Again, both on around the week of the 26th. So what do we got for this week? SPY, as you can see, SPY is coming into that trend. I thought we were actually going to try to break that trend coming into Friday. It did come really close, so I wouldn't actually be surprised if we do gap tomorrow night in futures and then pull back, or possibly even break above this and then pull back. I mean, that'd be extremely bullish. I think a lot of the market sentiment and everything about the uncertainty and everything that was going on, I think we really kind of saw that in March. I think we'll start to break away from that and see some more running stocks running, especially the ones that have been lagging really behind. Apple and again, Facebook and your Microsoft, they've all been kind of flying on positive news. So being said, I think the market is getting ready for earnings and we'll really start this bull run off right. QQQ, I mean, it's been looking great as of compared to the market in general. We've tried to sell off on Friday. I thought there was going to be a good sell-off, but tech actually held extremely well on Friday. So that being said, we did break back above, which was surprising a lot earlier because I thought we were kind of sold most of the day. But we only sold in the beginning, and then we held really well and started pushing back up. So it looks like we are going to retest this middle Bollinger Band in this zone right here, and then we're going to start. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if we gap up futures tomorrow, pull back on Monday. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Bonds in themselves, they've been playing well. They've been playing nicely. They've been playing this range. So that was very good to see. And even things like Bitcoin over the weekend is holding well and pushing up and attempting to go for all-time highs, which is also very bullish in the crypto space. And one thing that I want to bring up, which is something I don't talk about on this channel, something I'm starting to get more into, is crypto in itself. If that is something you want me to do more of, just leave a comment down in the description below. But there is on one particular exchange for the coin, Qcoin, which is an exchange for trading particular, your Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff like that. Their loan percentage is gone up a ridiculous amount over the past couple of days. That being said, people are aware of the bull market. People are trying to borrow money because they expect big changes coming. So a lot of times to see these big changes coming beforehand, you have to kind of do your research and pick up on small cues that are happening around you. Like the loan amounts, the percentage is in such high demand right now for people trying to buy stuff, acquire assets and stocks and stuff like that. Being said, this bull market run is getting ready to happen. So we're just waiting patiently. And I think this is the week, if we get some good positive earnings from the banks, I think we can really see a massive run starting here. So this week, let me pull up the watch list, what I got for this week. This is essentially what I got for this week. So almost as always, we have Tesla, we have Spot, like I just talked about, Etsy, Twilio, Palantir, BA, we got Z and XPI. I think these look fantastic on the daily. We'll actually jump right into Tesla. Tesla is actually, it did have that massive run on numbers as far as deliveries, but then it did kind of cool off this week a little bit, which I was talking about. I did add share positions. I did on Thursday. I added once we broke above, and then it dipped, but it held here very strongly. And I added more here going into this coming week, primarily because we are breaking out of this big wedge. We got this very solid trend line that's pushing up. If it does happen to pull back a little bit, I think at this point we aren't, because we are above the middle Bollinger Band on the daily. I think we are ready to rip and try to retest for all-time highs. We're going into earnings. Break all-time highs, I don't know. I think we're going to have some good news on earnings to actually be able to break all-time highs. even being put on the SPX 500, I think Tesla is still moving like old. Nothing has really changed about the movement on Tesla. It still moves $50, $100 increments. So just be aware of that. I think going into earnings is one of the biggest earning plays. And so I can really see even option premiums build dramatically going into earnings with Tesla. So that just being said, so I have Tesla on watch. Again, I'll be looking at call options to possibly cover earnings this week, as well as possibly scalp it. And again, I'll be holding those shares through to earnings and update you on that particular position. Now, the next position I have is spot. Same thing on the daily. On the daily, spot looks great. We are actually retested all the support down here. We're finally above the 200. We're finally above the middle Bollinger Band and the 50. And, there's been some good consolidation on spot. I've been talking about this. It's been rattling in this range. We're back up. I think we're really going to push. Again, earnings is just around the corner. The same week as Tesla on the 28th, it looks like. So being said, I think spot will be another big one. Again, you can see the consolidation over the past week, just like Tesla. I think we'll really start making our way back to all-time highs with this. Again, they have a great business model, and the fundamentals are solid on spot. I do talk about solid fundamentals. I like to play those companies heavier in those companies that have solid fundamentals that I do really, truly believe in, because that helps with news and events to help push that stock up a lot quicker than some other stocks who will essentially be dead until you do have that news event. These particular stocks gain momentum fast, and they move in big increments. So being said, the next one I have is actually Etsy, which isn't one I typically haven't really talked about lately. But on the daily, I know it did run with Amazon, and I think all of the e-commerce space was running on Thursday and Friday. But being said, on the daily, this looks great. Potentially what we'd ultimately want, if Monday we can actually open up at the 210.65 mark to retest this middle Bollinger Band and hit the support again, I think that would be a perfect entry, in my opinion. And one thing to keep in mind too with these Bollinger Bands and all these other different support and resistance lines is they don't always have to touch. They can come pretty close. So don't worry about if you are trying to make dollars instead of pennies. Just really understand that these aren't going to directly touch. So this did pop above it. We're looking more for a retest. So keep that in mind on the daily. So if we can come back down and retest some of the support, that would ultimately be best for our next move up on Etsy. The next one I do have is Twilio, which Twilio actually looks really good too. I almost took this on Friday, actually before close the bell, but I wanted to wait just to kind of see if we did pull back any at all, because normally we do have a pretty decent little pullback, enough of a pullback on Monday, typically before we start a bullish week. And I think we can kind of see that coming into next. Again, I did break the wedge, and could have been a retest on Friday. That 358.86 ultimately is holding above all the support. So that's great to see, and we can retest the all-time high. So there's a lot of headroom on Twilio still left. Just keep that in mind. Planter is the other one. I don't really talk about this one a lot too. It is trying to break. It was pushing pretty hard on Friday. It was trying to break this middle Bollinger Band that is sitting at the 23.96 mark. Again, you do have resistance for the 50, which is sitting around 25, but that is very bullish in my mind. If we can break both of those, break above 25 ultimately as we want to do. If we break above 25, we'll really start seeing some running again. But something to keep on watch this week. BA is the other one I have for you guys. And now BA, we're really kind of watching this wedge on the daily. As you can see on the daily, we did get below the middle Bollinger Band, but I wouldn't be surprised if we can break essentially above that 256 this week and retest this daily trend line. I think we're going to go retest all-time highs, look for that 300. with BA, because once BA gets momentum, it really starts running. I don't typically play BA, but it is something I want to bring up because BA does go on some really good runs when it does break on the daily. So that is one thing to keep in mind. Z is the next one I have for you guys for this week. Again, on the daily, it did break the wedge. We are above all the support. We have all the support. We could have missed our entry. On Friday was a lot of good entries. So if you missed Thursday's episode on the daily review, I brought up a lot. I had a lot more of these tickers where it looked like perfect entries going into this week. We can still look for at least some kind of a pullback to those. So that's just something to keep in mind. But if we did retest, we have a lot of open room here. Again, of course, you're going to have your speed bumps on the way up, but I think we are making our way back to all-time highs. And again, it's cleared a lot. It has a lot of support underneath it now. Very bullish with the 50 and the 20 pushing underneath the candle. So that is definitely good to see. And the next one I have for you guys is EXPI. If I could type this out. EXPI, this one is getting close. I think as soon as we might get that candle on Monday that it breaks above this, out of this wedge, as soon as it breaks out of this wedge and retest, ideally that's when you'd want to go in for a longer swing. That being said, I think, again, you're going to have some resistance here up to the 50. If you can get above probably the 50.25, you're going to really see some strong headwinds back up to the upside. Going into earnings in itself. So I think this is another great one to keep on watch. EXPI, one I've been watching, I think will really do some damage over the coming weeks. But being said, that's what I have for the weekly updates. Trying to keep these videos a little bit shorter and sweeter and to the point, and give you the best tickers that I have found that can really help you throughout the week. Again, every nightly video, I try to provide updates. Like I said, on Thursday, I had a lot of tickers that I called out that retested the middle Bollinger Band and all those supports that now look like they are bouncing. You can relook for entries if we do have any kind of more of a pullback before then. But things are set up perfectly going into earnings. Again, we have to look at what the banks are going to do this week and see where it goes from there. So remember to like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video. And until next time, guys, I will see you later.